UFC 312, Du Plessis versus Strickland 2, full card prediction, and I want to get this out of the way as soon as possible. This card, UFC 312, Dana White is not living up to pay-per-view standards. The standard is, you got the main event, title fight. You got the co-main event, either another title fight or two top 10, top 5 guys in any weight class. And then you got the featured fight. Again, something in there. One of the fighters ranked. And then you got one other main card fight at the very least that has a ranked fighter. But instead, you put Justin Tafa, Taliesin Teixeira on this card as the featured fight before a world title fight. My oh my. My oh my, UFC 312. I don't know what to say, Dana. I don't know what to say. But if you do want to see all the bets we are making for UFC 312, check the top link in the description down below or that pinned comment in the comment section. We're going to be betting on all of these fights. We got an underdog bet. We got a few parlays I'm thinking about and some props I'm definitely thinking about. Even though it is not a good fight card in terms of name value, there's still some good bets to be made. So we'll see about that. But yeah, good fights like Borshchev Nolan's a good fight. Cong, Wang, Bruna is a good fight. Jimmy, Rodolfo, good fights, but name value is just not there on this UFC pay-per-view. Let's get it started, though, prediction-wise. What the hell is that in the UFC's flyweight division? Hyun Park and Nyamjargal Tumendemberel in the UFC flyweight division. That's the first take for me. That is my first take saying this man's name. I just kind of looked at it and it sounded right. Let me know if I'm See, I can't even say mistaken. I don't know. I can't do that, but I can say his name. Let me know if I made any mistakes pronouncing his name. Nyamjargal Tumendemberel. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, this fight in the flyweight division, they both got 9 fights. One's undefeated. One's got 1 loss in his last one, a Carlos Hernandez. A close one. He clearly lost. I don't know why it was a split decision. That was only 2 months ago. So he's actually being pretty active here in the flyweight division. His striking in that fight, it didn't really look that good. His wrestling was okay. It wasn't amazing. Nothing to really write home about. But really the striking from Nyamjargal, I did not like whatsoever. I think Hyun Park is going to have an easy time in the office here. He's got better striking than Nyamjargal. Is coming off the knockout win a year ago over Shannon Ross. So he's obviously improved since then. He's only 29 years old. He's going to get better in that year off since the Shannon Ross knockout win. He won the road to UFC before that with a submission. I believe he defends whatever takedowns come his way from Nyamjargal, and I expect a striking match in the flyweight division here. I think Hyun Park is going to land the more powerful strikes here. Same height. The reach advantage goes Nyamjargal, but his striking isn't that good. Hyun is going to get inside of the range and land good shots. Good boxing combinations on the inside there. I got Hyun Park. I'm going to go 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. I think it's going to be dissenting scorecards, but the result the same. Unanimous decision for Hyun Park on the scorecards. Kody, Steele, and Rongzhu in the lightweight division. Rongzhu has had 2 stints in the UFC. This is his second, and it's not going on too well. He just got a doctor stoppage where his eye looked really gross against Chris Padilla, where he lost in round number 2. His first stint in the UFC, he lost to Rodrigo Vargas in his debut, beat Brandon Jenkins, who's no longer in the UFC, and then he lost to Ignacio Bahamondes by submission, got taken down by him and submitted and dominated in that fight. He did go on to win a few fights on the regional scene, win on the road to UFC, and make his way back into the UFC. But again, like I said, didn't do good when he got back in. Now he's fighting Kody Steele, and I'm going to be straight up with you. This is a harder matchup than Chris Padilla. This is a harder matchup than Rodrigo Vargas, Brandon Jenkins, and around a similar level to Ignacio Bahamondes. I do believe this is a tough matchup for Rongzhu here, and I don't know why they're giving him such a tough matchup when the Australian cards are trying to promote their Chinese and Australian prospects because it's that location of the world, close to China, close to Australia, Oceania. So I don't know why they're trying to set up Rongzhu with this hard, tough matchup. in this fight at UFC 312. I do believe Cody Steele gets the win here. I do believe he gets the finish as well. Cody Steele is a wrestler and grappler turned Justin Gaethje enthusiast, as he just has fallen in love with his boxing and with his striking overall. He's a kicker a little bit. He'll land a leg kick from time to time. But overall, he's coming forward, trying to get you on the back foot to mix in some takedowns, but get you worrying about those takedowns so he can land his punches to the face. Body shots every now and then. He's not a body shot hunter. He's mainly going for the head and a few leg kicks and a few takedowns mixed in as well. I think Cody is going to pressure him a lot in this fight, and I think the takedowns are going to be a big part. If it was a strict kickboxing matchup, Rongzhu's got a great shot. I might actually pick him to win, but because of the threat of the takedown, because he will shoot, and he will gas out Rongzhu with those shots, with those takedowns, with the ground and pound, with the holds in you there, making you wear his weight. Cody Steele's going to win with that. I think he's going to knock him out in the later rounds. Not a clean, he's out cold, but a hit. He's going to be gassed out, knocked down, a little bit of ground and pound. Cody Steele, round 2, round 3, finish. Quillan, Salkilld, and Anshul Jubli in the lightweight division. Before we get on to the prediction, I gotta help you bettors out there, okay? Minus 410 is crazy. Let's just get that out of the way immediately. Quillan Salkilld won a 29-28 close decision on the Contender Series. Anshul Jubli is 1-1 in the UFC. This is not a fight that Quillan Salkilld should be an overwhelming favorite, and the second biggest favorite on the entire card besides Cong Wang. Let's just say that right now. This fight should be closer to a pick'em. We'll get into that when we do our confident picks video later on. But similar height, reach advantage going Quillan Salkilld. Striking is very even. The kicks are good from Quillan. He's got some good body kicks and kicks to the leg as well. Boxing wise, neither guy is like a super powerful guy. Quillan's got a good right hand down the middle. Anshul's got good boxing as well, and the wrestling wise, Quillan and Anshul will mix in a takedown every now and then. They both have a few wins where they're getting takedowns and mixing those in, so that could be a factor here, but I don't think either guy is going to get the takedown and hold them there. It's going to be kind of a mixed in and they get right back up kind of thing to where if it's eerily even on the striking, the takedown will kind of secure the round on the judges' scorecards. But I kind of expect this one to be a 3-round striking affair. I do have Quillan Salkilld winning by a decision, but if Anshul Jubli goes out there, is able to close distance, get inside of Quillan Salkild's range and land those boxing combinations, and win round 1, win round 2. I don't think he's going to win round 3. I don't like his cardio, but Salkilld, if he's able to win round 2, round 3, he wins. If Anshul is able to win round 1, round 2, he's going to win. It's going to come down to can Anshul get inside of the range of Quillan and land good, effective boxing combinations. Can Quillan stay on the outside, use that reach, and kind of Michael Venom Page it a little bit. Stay on the outside, jab him, kick him at range, and then come in with the right hand, which I saw he did very good with on the Contender Series. I got Quillan Salkilld, 29-28 decision, winning round 2, winning round 3, but I still think it's a closer fight. I would say, I'm going to do the confident picks video later, but right now, thinking the best possible case scenario is like 2-1 for Quillan Salkilld. I don't think you should be that confident in him. It's his debut. He barely won a close decision against Gage Young in the Contender. Yeah, don't be too confident. Kevin Jousset and Jonathan Micallef in the welterweight division. Jonathan lost less than a year ago to Alden Bates. He got knocked out in that matchup, came back with a submission win over Matt Vale, and then he went over Muhammad Ado on the Dana White's Contender Series. He's young. He's only about 26 years old. 7-1, of course, that knockout loss, again, was not that long ago, let's be honest with you. 38-year-old Alden Bates was able to knock him out. Let's think about that. Of course, Alden did beat Jack Della Maddalena, so it's not like it's a scrub, but it's a 38-year-old guy went out there and knocked you out. Let's just talk about that. I do believe Jonathan should try to get the takedown here. Try to get into the ground, create scrambles on the ground, and try to latch onto a submission some way or another. He's got the reach advantage. He doesn't have the height. But Kevin's just far superior in the striking, I feel. Jonathan Micallef, he's not really like a super fast striker. He's not a very powerful striker. Kevin's got better technique, better volume than Jonathan Micallef, better kicks, better boxing. I think Jonathan's got to make it dirty, and he's got to get it to the ground at some point in this fight. I don't think he will. Even if he does, he's going to have to do it in 2 rounds and keep it there. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is primarily, again, going to be mainly a striking matchup here between Auckland, New Zealand's Kevin Jousset, who's also from France, and Jonathan Micallef. I think it's going to be a fun one. Jonathan Micallef could get knocked out here. Kevin Jousset has shown to have some sort of power. He hurt Kiefer Crosby on the feet, I believe. Has a few knockout wins earlier on in his career, but, I mean, he's not like a one punch. He's out cold, and if he does rock him, Jonathan could use his grappling and jiu-jitsu to scramble and survive on the ground. So I got Kevin Jousset winning this one on the scorecards. I think it goes all the way. Kevin, by unanimous decision. Alexandre Topuria and Colby Thicknesse in the bantamweight division. Short notice, Colby undefeated, 7-0, 25 years old. Stepping up for Cody Haddon. I would have actually had Cody Haddon to win because I do believe the striking between Cody and Alexandre would have been really, really even with some possible wrestling mixed in. But I would have had that as like a flip a coin, goes either way. Whereas Alexandre Topuria, you know, Colby's going to have a significant disadvantage when it comes to the striking. His kicks are okay. Doesn't really have a lot of power in his hands or his kicks, but he'll mix them in. Body kicks at range, leg kicks at range. He's kind of standing on the outside. He's not really pressuring forward unless he's staying back, and then boom, trying to go in with a takedown entry. But overall, Colby's got to get this to the ground. He's not going to knock out Topuria. He doesn't have crazy, powerful striking. Doesn't have really that good of boxing. I don't really like what I saw from him on the feet in his last few fights. I think he needs to get it to the ground, try to get on top of Alexandre, get his back maybe, try to go for rear nakeds and things like that. That's just kind of his best path to victory, in my opinion, especially on short notice where, you know, his cardio might not be there. I don't know. So he might need to get a finish early with a submission. We'll see about that. Alexandre Topuria, on the other hand, I believe he's going to have the takedown defense to keep it on the feet. I think he's going to outstrike Colby Thicknesse. He's got similar boxing to Ilya, not freaking world-class, amazing boxing, but he's got good boxing. It's kind of running in their gene pool. They both got great boxing. Topuria is not on the level of the other good Ilya Topuria, but it's still great. I think he's going to pressure forward, get inside of the range of Colby Thicknesse, and outbox him. Colby's going to outkick him. Topuria's going to outbox him. That's what's going to happen. I don't think wrestling and grappling is going to mix in here. Colby will attempt takedowns. That's what he's got to do. I don't think he's going to take him down. I don't think he's going to control him there if he does. I got Topuria. Do I want to say knockout? Colby is undefeated, but he's in Australia. Does he want to get knocked out in his home country? I mean, he's been 8 years of amateur and pro MMA. He's never been knocked out. I'm going to go to a decision. He's got the ground and pound TKO, and then that knockout. I'm gonna go decision here for Alexandre Topuria. It'll be a fun one. Colby could win if he gets into the ground, but I don't see it. I got unanimous decision for Alexandre Topuria. Cong Wang and Bruna, Brasil in the women's flyweight division. Again, what the hell are we doing, UFC? The odds are atrocious. Bruna Brasil, I know. She's a strawweight. She's moving up. That's the main reason, in my opinion, the odds are the way that they are. That is basically it. She has only lost to Loma Lukbunmi, who I'm very, very high on in that women's strawweight division. 29-year-old Muay Thai girl with great takedown defense. 6-2. She's doing really, really good down there. Has only lost to ranked girls. That's the one girl that beat Bruna Brasil. The other is Denise Gomez, 10-3 overall. Inside of the UFC, she is 4-2. And again, only lost to Loma Lukbunmi, as well as Angela Hill. She's a good striker. She's amazing on the feet. Now, the thing those two had in common, the thing Denise Gomez and Loma Lukbunmi had in common is they were really, really good at keeping that fight on the feet and defending the takedown from their opponent. Cong Wang, we just saw get submitted. There is worry there. There is worry there about if Bruna gets it to the ground. She was able to against Molly McCann. Can she submit Kong Wang in this fight? It's a possibility for sure for her to go out there and get a submission. She's got a guillotine back in 2019. She's got another guillotine in 2020. All it takes is one little clinching scenario where she's able to do that. And that's not even to mention her striking isn't bad. I'm talking about her grappling because I think that's the clearest path to victory here. But her striking isn't like she's going to get dominated by Kong Wang by any stretch of the imagination. They're similar height, similar reach. Bruna's got the speed. Kong Wang's got speed as well. I mean, they're both similar power as well. I would give it a Kong Wang because Bruna is moving up a weight class. But I don't think Kong's going to destroy her on the feet. I think if it's a clear striking match, Kong Wang will win, of course. But mixed in some takedowns. If Bruna Brasil is able to, now that she's with the Fighting Nerds, she's able to put on a good game plan here. And able to mix in the strikes right into takedown entries and gas out Kong Wang with the wrestling, with the grappling. We could be looking at a good dog here. The Fighting Nerds have great game plans for their matchups. And why would Bruna Brasil move up a weight class to fight Kong Wang if she didn't have a good reason to? She's probably got a good game plan here. Now, I'm going to pick Kong Wang. I'm likely going to bet Bruna Brasil. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. I'm likely going to put money on Bruna Brasil here. I love her new training camp. I love how good she looked against Molly McCann in her last matchup. And I think she could mix in takedowns and keep it even on the feet and edge out a close decision on the scorecards. I am going to go Kong Wang to outstrike, defend some takedowns, keep it on the feet. We'll see. I think it's a lot closer than these odds have it, if we're being quite honest with you. Kong Wang, 29-28, very close decision. Tom Nolan and Viacheslav Borshchev in the lightweight division. I'm going to keep this one short, and I'm going to keep this one sweet. Their chins are both iffy. Tom Nolan and Viacheslav Borshchev both throw a similar amount of volume in their striking matchups. Viacheslav Borshchev has better striking defense. Again, I'm saying their chins are about the same. They're not that good. But Borshchev defends a lot better. Nolan's striking defense really is not that good. And then Borshchev, I just think that is going to be the factor here. I don't think Borshchev is going to go out there and steamroll Tom Nolan. I think it's going to be later on in the fight where he starts to do his work, because he does like to download the information a little bit in round number one. But once he finds that range to get inside of the 6'3", 73-inch reach of Tom Nolan, he's going to get inside, and his striking defense is good. He's going to stay away from the slower shots of Tom Nolan because Borshchev has the speed and power advantage over Tom Nolan. He's going to get into the inside, and I think we're going to see a late TKO from Borshchev here. Round one, I think Tom will win by staying at range and just trying to land big shots and stay on the outside. Once Borshchev finds the range in round two, in round three, I think he wins both rounds and finds a finish in one of them as well. I got Borshchev, round two, round three, TKO. Jack Jenkins and Gabriel Santos in the featherweight division. Now, I've been on this card for a while, and there's not a lot of good underdogs to just pick outright. There's some value on some underdog bets, but there's no real underdogs to pick outright. And I think we may have just found ourselves a really, really good underdog. And I'm not confident in any means. 80% of Tapology is going Jack Jenkins. I think that's ludicrous. It's basically a pick'em, in my opinion. Gabriel Santos has slightly better boxing. Wrestling and grappling is really, really even. And then Jack Jenkins has the better kicks. So it's really going to be, can either man implement a little bit of takedowns here and there and get a takedown, a little bit of ground and pound, a submission attempt, and can one man, Gabriel, land a big shot in the boxing, and can Jack stay away from that, keep the boxing even, and out leg kick him? If that made sense, like and subscribe. I'm going to go through it kind of again. Jack Jenkins, better kicker. His boxing isn't as good as Gabriel Santos, but he makes up for it because he's throwing like 10 leg kicks that are landing every single round. He's throwing like 20 every single round. That'll add up throughout 3 rounds of a striking match. I think this one goes to a decision. 3 rounds, those leg kicks are just going to keep adding up and counting as points for Jack Jenkins. Again, the boxing, Gabriel Santos a little bit more powerful, a little bit better boxing there. But Jack Jenkins isn't a lot worse than Gabriel there. And I think can keep the boxing really, really even while at the same time landing those kicks. There, I think Jack Jenkins, if it's a pure striking match, barely wins. Barely. Because he's Australian. I think they'll give him the nod really, really slightly on the scorecards. And then we got the wrestling and grappling, which I think is another coin flip there, where Gabriel mixes in a lot of takedowns in his fights, gets a little bit of control, a little bit of ground and pound. He's not really going for submissions too much. Jack kind of the same way, getting the takedowns and ground and pounding you a little bit. One of these guys could possibly have that game plan to go out there and mix in a takedown every round, and whoever that is likely going to be the winner. If the striking is as even as I do believe it will be, one of these guys mixing in a little clinch work, mixing a little body lock, knees to the body, and a takedown, that's going to win the round on the judges' scorecard. So we shall see. I'm going to go Jack Jenkins. It's in Australia, and in this close of a fight that I literally think could go either way, you got to give it to the Australian. Got to give it to the Australian in Australia. So not a fight I'm confident in, but plus 190, I think it should be a pick'em. Let's be honest here. Jack Jenkins, 29-28. I'm going to go splits. Decision in the UFC featherweight division. Jake Matthews and Francisco Prado in the welterweight division. Prado, I feel bad. He's 1-2 in the UFC. But he got a really, really good win over Atman Azaitar and then got fed to Daniel Zellhuber on a silver platter. That's not a good matchup at all for Francisco Prado, for Daniel to just stay on the outside and outstrike him for 3 rounds. He showed some heart in there, and then, of course, showed some power against Atman Azaitar. But he's 5'10". He doesn't have a crazy long reach for the welterweight division. He's really going to have to get inside on a lot of his matchups in this welterweight division. He was at the lightweight division. Now he's going to be even smaller compared to these welterweights. And Jake is going to have the reach. He's going to have the height. He's going to have the more technical striking. Prado's really going to have to try to get inside, like I'm saying. But I do believe that the power is going to be pretty even here. Again, Prado's a lightweight moving up. Jake is a welterweight. So I think power is going to be pretty even. But volume and technique in the striking is going to go Jake. He's got the better kicks, got the better volume. With his punches as well, has the reach advantage, has the height. He's going to make Prado come to him, and I think he's going to counter for the unanimous decision. 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. For the unanimous decision, Jake Matthews. Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato in the light heavyweight division. Short notice for Rodolfo Bellato, who is stepping in on, 3 weeks? 3 weeks? Is what I'm thinking. Notice for Marcin Prokhnio. Marcin was a much easier matchup because Jimmy could go out there, pressure forward with the boxing, and get the takedowns and win that fight. Jimmy Crute against Marcin, he would have won that fight 8 times out of 10. Now he's going against Rodolfo Bellato, and he's the underdog. And I'm like, oh, this is a close fight because let's go through the criteria here, striking wise. Both guys aren't amazing. Jimmy Crute's chin, he's getting dropped left and right. It was a while ago, yes, a year and a half ago, to Alonzo Menifield. Jamal Hill knocking him out. Anthony Smith stopping him with leg strikes. But, his chin is a little iffy. Bellato, now his chin isn't iffy. I'm not going to go that far. But he got knocked down by Ihor Potieria and outstruck in round 1 by Ihor Potieria. I think Jimmy Crute throws with more power. I think both of their chins recently haven't shown to be amazing. I'm not saying Rodolfo's is bad, but it's not amazing. And I think Jimmy hits harder, has a little bit better boxing, but of course, Bellato's got the cardio. He's got the pace. He's got the pressure. He's got that constant come forward nature to him that could, of course, win in the later rounds if Jimmy Crute's gas tank isn't there. But he's stepping in on short notice. So in his full camps, he's able to put on that pace. We don't know if he's going to be able to on short notice here with Jimmy Crute. And we haven't talked about the wrestling and grappling yet. Bellato's good on the ground, getting the takedown and getting on top and ground and pounding you. So is Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute's not that bad on the ground either. He's got some good jiu-jitsu and some good control on the ground. I don't think that's where this fight takes place. I do think Rodolfo Bellato is going to pressure forward, and I think Jimmy's going to land big shots while he comes in and win round 1. And then I think round 3, we're going to go Rodolfo Bellato. Once Jimmy starts to fade a little bit, Bellato's going to start to fade as well. He's coming in on short notice, but his heart and determination just coming forward, I think it's going to give him the nod on the judges' scorecards. In round number 3, round 2 is where it all comes. Because Bellato, again, taking it on short notice. And Jimmy, it's been a year since he last fought. There could be improvements, of course. But I think he should have the ability, after 5 minutes, to at least do it another 5. Stay at range. Have Rodolfo come to him. Play the counter-punching role. And just crack Rodolfo when he comes in. Rodolfo eats shots, and he doesn't look fazed by a lot of them. He obviously got rocked in his last fight, but most of the time he just eats them and comes forward. And I think Jimmy, optics-wise, Jimmy landing all those big shots, I think it's going to get him the win. Whenever Rodolfo does get inside, does close that distance, Jimmy's got to clinch, he's got to wrestle, he's got to grapple, then get it back at range where he's going to be having the slight advantage here. I'm going to go dog. I'm not confident at all. I've just laid out my little criteria there for this fight, where I think everybody's better, and I'm leaning Jimmy round 1, Rodolfo round 2, and round 3 for Rodolfo, and round 2 could really go either way, and barely leaning Jimmy Crute. Again, he's the Australian guy. Bellato's got some unknowns in that he's coming in on short notice. He hasn't fought in a year. Jimmy Crute hasn't fought in a year and a half, so again, there's improvements. I'm going off of what I saw in that last fight for Bellato. I'm going off what I saw in the last few fights for Jimmy Crute. There could be improvements. We shall see come Saturday night. I got Jimmy Crute 29-28, just like the last one. Probably a split decision. We shall see. Talison Teixeira and Justin Tafa in the heavyweight division. Hot take here. Ladies and gentlemen, hot take. I'm gonna go Justin Tafa. I don't want to do this. Trust me. I don't want to do this. But I'm going to have to do it, man. This is a tailor-made matchup for Justin, I feel. Talison Teixeira, he's good. He's young, 25 years old, 7-0. 7 finishes. Round 1 knockout, round 1 knockout, round 1 knockout. He's good with straights down the middle. Straight right, straight right, straight right. That's how he wins his fights. He's got the head kicks. All in round number 1 in just minutes. Against low-level competition, yes. Against slower-level competition that didn't really offer too much back at him, yes. So he's got a lot of things going for him. But reason I'm picking Justin Tafa is Justin knows how to get through. Justin knows how to get through that craziness. And again, I know this resume is not great. Losing to Jared Vandeira, Carlos Felipe, Carl Williams, who are all not in the UFC is not a great look. One thing all those fighters have in common, though, they're all wrestlers. They're all wrestlers. He's only losing these fights in the last 4 or 5 years because he's getting out wrestled. When it stays on the feet, knocking out Harry Hunsucker, getting inside and knocking out Parker Porter, getting inside and knocking out Austin Lane, and I think that's what he does. I'm not going to be confident. It's heavyweight MMA, and Talison has the length for days to get Justin Tafa right down the pipe while he comes in. We could easily see him knock out Justin Tafa right down the middle. Tafa hasn't been knocked out for 5 years. So we'll see about that. Talison has never been knocked out, but Tafa, when he cracks, he will crack. And I think the reason they're putting this fight as the featured fight is because they want to see this big, giant Talison Teixeira in the featured fight, undefeated, get knocked out by the Australian man. I think they want to hype it up. End the card with a big bang Australian Justin Tafa knockout. I'm going to go the dog. That's my third dog of the card. I got Tafa round 1. Round 1 knockout. We shall see what happens, though. Weili Zhang and Tatiana Suarez in the women's strawweight division for the belt 50-50 fight. According to the odds makers, Tatiana has beaten many champs in the UFC already. She joined the UFC in 2016 after winning the Ultimate Fighter. Beat Viviane Pereira, who was 13-0 at the time. Submitted Alexa Grasso. Ground and pound TKO'd Carla Esparza. Again, Alexa Grasso, that is her only ever time being finished. Valentina lost to her, first off, drawed, and then won a decision. Could not finish her. Carla Esparza barely won that, majority decision. Felice Herrig barely won that by a decision. Tatiana, finish. Round 1, easy win. Carla Esparza, ground and pound TKO round number 3. Solid win over a girl that after that fight went on to become champion. Nina Nunes, good win. She's a former top 10 women strawweight, I believe. Good win, dominant win. She wasn't able to get the finish, but bounced back after that with a guillotine a few years later after the long, long layoff. Guillotining Montana De La Rosa and guillotining, however you want to say it, Jessica Andrade. That is 3 champs on her record. Her wrestling is amazing. Her grappling is amazing. She is 34 years old, and Weili Zhang is 35, so they're a little bit older in this weight class. Zhang Weili has shown good offensive wrestling in her last few fights, but we haven't got to see her defensive wrestling. Yan Xiaonan, Amanda Lemos, she is mixing in takedowns. Carla Esparza, she mixed in takedowns. She got the back. We did see that. Let me take that back. We did see a little bit of defensive wrestling in that fight from Carla Esparza, but like you saw, Carla Esparza, here, solid, not bad at all. Tatiana Suarez, way the hell up there. Tatiana's on a different level than Carla because she has absolutely dominated Carla with wrestling and grappling and ground and pound. So there is nothing I can compare it to. I can look at her entire record. I could go through all of the fights, watch all the film, and there's nothing I could look at on Weili Zhang's record that'll make me believe she is going to be ready for Tatiana Suarez's wrestling and grappling onslaught. Tatiana's got good cardio. She will constantly shoot those takedowns, and if she's not able to get it, she'll get it to the clinch and try to work the guillotine, try to work the shots in the clinch as well, the punches, and then shoot another takedown. Clearly, we have advantages in this fight. Weili's the better striker, similar height. Reach advantage goes Tatiana. She's the better boxer and kickboxer. Tatiana's not horrible on the feet, but she wants it on the ground. So she'll use that, have Weili try to come in to land her shots. Tatiana's going to mix in the takedowns, get into the clinch, and I think we got a new UFC champion, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going the dog. That's my fourth underdog of the card. Fourth underdog of the card. Now, this is not a big underdog. Like, most of the betting odds sites had this as a pick'em. And that just happened, I'm talking hours ago. January 31st, it just switched from her being the underdog to it being a pick'em. So people are starting to see that Tatiana Suarez is going to go out there and get the upset. Obviously, some of these still have Weili as the favorite, so I'm still going to count this as an underdog pick. I don't care. I'm counting it as a dog pick. I got Tatiana Suarez getting the takedowns round 3 and on. I think Weili wins round 1. Round 2 is the closest round of them all, and Tatiana wins the rest or finishes Weili in those later rounds with that guillotine, with a rear naked maybe. But that's what I got. Ladies and gentlemen, a new champion, 11-0. Tatiana, I believe she wins. And I believe in the strawweight division, let's check out the rankings. Who is there for her to fight? Who realistically is there for her to fight? Yan Xiaonan just lost for the belt. Verna Janjidoba, sure, she's fighting Yan Xiaonan, so what if she loses? Andrade, Tatiana's already beaten. Lemos just lost to Weili Zhang. Dern, coming off a win, yeah, over Amanda Hebas. But Tatiana Suarez, my guy, she's going to move up after this. She doesn't have a lot of interesting matchups here, and I would want some marination to happen with the contenders. I would want Verna to get a win. I would want Mackenzie Dern to get another win, get herself in there. Yasmin Lucindo to get herself in there. And in the meantime, Valentina Shevchenko fights Manon Fiorot. Let's say Valentina wins. You do Tatiana Suarez, Valentina Shevchenko, double champ fight. And I think Weili Zhang, same thing. If she's able to get the win, Weili Zhang versus Valentina Shevchenko, double champ fight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see what happens. I got Tatiana by a 48-47, very close decision. I think she's going to have some adversity to go through in round 1, round 2, but I think she takes care of it in the later rounds, possibly getting a finish. I got Suarez winning that fight. Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland. It's the same fight a little while later. The last fight was a year ago, and it was a split decision for Dricus du Plessis. A little bit of controversy. Some people thought Dricus won. Some people thought Sean won. It was a close fight. Height and reach, absolutely the same. Power goes Dricus du Plessis. Volume, punches volume goes Dricus du Plessis. Kicking volume, the stupid teeps that Sean Strickland do. They're not stupid because they are effective, but that definitely goes Sean Strickland. And then wrestling and grappling goes Dricus du Plessis. We're seeing online a lot of Sean being like, let's make a pack. I can't do a freaking Sean Strickland accent, but he doesn't want to wrestle. Let's just say that. He's trying to make a pact with Drickus just to strike for 5 straight rounds and do the man dance for 5 straight rounds. Well, Drickus du Plessis has a clear advantage when it comes to the wrestling and grappling over Sean Strickland. Sean has never, I don't think he's ever attempted really a takedown besides like Jack Hermanson many years ago, like in 2021, COVID time. So Drickus du Plessis should go out there and mix in takedowns as early and as often as possible and do what Merab did, where he's going for takedowns, and Drickus' style is to be wild and goofy, shoot those takedowns and woof, whip up the right hook, whip up the left hook. And I think that's going to help him a lot here. I think the last fight, if he does exactly what he did, he'd still probably win. But mixing in the takedowns and mixing them in like this and then shooting shots up to Sean Strickland, I think it's going to help him win as well. And of course, when somebody's shooting a takedown on you, you're not trying to teep them. So it gets rid of that weapon for a second for him to get into that boxing range where Drickus is better. When he's in that range, he's better than Sean. And I think he gets in there. And I think he lands. And I think he does mix in a takedown or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. We'll see. It's not going to be a domination with wrestling or grappling, but he's definitely going to land some here. I got Drickus du Plessis, this time a little bit more convincing. 48-47, 48-47, 49-46. Unanimous. Not a split this time. Unanimous decision for Drickus du Plessis. That is the full card prediction for UFC 312. Du Plessis versus Strickland 2. I got Du Plessis winning in the main event by unanimous decision. I got Tatiana Suarez in a very close decision as an underdog. I got Justin Tafa by round 1 knockout as an underdog. I got Jimmy Crute by a split decision probably as an underdog. I got Jake Matthews going out there and winning by unanimous decision. I got Jack Jenkins going out there and winning 29-28 split decision as an underdog. I got Viacheslav Borshchev by a late finish. Round number 2. Round number 3 by KO TKO. I got Cong Wang 29-28 very close decision. I got Alexandre Topuria by a unanimous decision. Kevin Jousset, unanimous decision. Quillan Salkilld, unanimous decision. 29-28 very close. Cody Steele with the late finish, round 2, round 3 knockout, and Hyun Sung Park either by knockout late or again unanimous decision there. The only finishes we got are Cody Steele, Viacheslav Borshchev, Justin Tafa, and that is it. That is what, 4 fights? 4 fights, 4 finishes. And if I were to have to pick another, if I were to have to go throughout this card and pick out of the ones that I said decision, and I think there's a good chance there could be a finish in there. Hyun Sung Park, I think there's a good chance he could get a finish. Alexandre Topuria, I think there's a good chance that he could definitely get a finish. And then Tatiana Suarez, I think there's a great shot Tatiana could get a finish. Drickus is also has a great shot at going out there and getting a finish. He only has 2 decisions on his record, Strickland and Brad Tavares. That is it. So Drickus, Tatiana, where is it? Alexandre Topuria and Hyun Sung Park. I would not be surprised if those ones are finishes. The other one, I am expecting those ones to go all the way, but we shall see. That is the full card prediction. Of course, check out the links in the pinned comment and in the description down below as well. Check either one of those. Get all of my bets for less than 30 cents a day. For all of my bets, you get the ranking system, you get the prospect list, you get the early fight news, you get so many perks to be honest with you. And if you have any questions about those perks, DM me on Instagram and I'll answer any questions you may have. It's a great card. It's not. UFC 312, we're out.